and welcome to the latest episode of the Northern Ireland Women's Football Show with me, Jana McCabe. Today I'm delighted to be joined by Lisburn ladies star Abbie Burnett and Bangor and Northern Ireland Futsal star Amber Dempster. Abbie, thank you for joining us today. Not too long until the season gets underway. Are you excited to get started?
Yes, it's been a long pre-season. It's never nice doing pre-season in the dark nights of January, so it'll be nice whenever the season starts in May.
Surely it makes you kind of grateful that we kind of have the season in May rather than during the winter months, so you don't have to freeze.
Yeah, no, I think it makes it a lot easier, especially playing like at 8 o'clock at night and the sun's still out. Not so nice whenever we get the 1 week of heat in the summer, but no, it's better than playing in the winter.
Amber, what do you reckon? Excited to get started, or are you enjoying off season?
Yeah, no, definitely excited to get started. To echo Abbie, it's been a long pre-season, but yeah, the girls have all been working really hard, really excited for it, and it'll be good to get back up and running again.
And excited for those summer nights as well. No more freezing cold like tonight. It's been awful. At least you're not training tonight. Definitely,
but I mean, it's Northern Ireland, anything can happen really. I remember, doing the long trips up to playing in Killen and Omagh, and it was absolutely bucketing down the whole time. So, but yeah, it'd be nice to get some sun and some good weather.
You're going to push for that league. Obviously, you came third last year, which was amazing. First year in the championship, pushing for higher.
Yeah, I mean, definitely. I think, like you say, it was Bangor's first ever time in the championship last year. They did so well to get up to third. It was competitive up at the top with obviously Lisburn Rangers and Ballyclare, and as Lisburn's already just got promoted into the Premier League. It's still going to be equally a tough league now with Ballymena joining us, obviously coming down, a few good teams coming up, and then obviously Sion have now entered the championship as well. So it'll definitely be competitive at the top, but yeah, we'll definitely strive for good things, hopefully.
You mentioned those teams coming in. It looks on paper like probably the toughest championship we've ever seen, but surely that gives you more motivation to push on, kind of try to get promotion.
Yeah, no, definitely. It's nice to have 10 teams in it this year. It'll be a lot more competitive, and I believe that we're one of these teams that we really match anybody we're up against in terms of the standards. So having teams like Sion and Ballymena who have come down and played at a high level in the Premier League, we can hopefully only echo that whenever we come up against them. So yeah, really looking forward to it.
Abbie, what's it like having that competitive championship of teams that kind of want to get up and get into that premiership and compete with teams like Lisburn?
I think it's good for the women's game. You don't want just one or two teams winning the league every year. You constantly want more teams developing. So I think it'll just improve the whole structure as well. I'm sure the rest of the NIWFA leagues are all just as equally as competitive as the championship will be. So I think it's good for the women's game.
You've kind of been there the whole time with Lisburn, so you've kind of gone through the ranks as well. Just how tough is it to get through those leagues in the NIWFA? Because no matter what league I seem to watch, it's just so competitive throughout.
Yeah, I think it took us a long time to get out of the championship. There was a few run-ins where we were close and just kind of fell away at the end. So it did take us a few years to just finally get over that line. But no, the championship is a difficult league to get out of.
And Amber, now you've had your first year in it, are you just kind of right, we're the new kids now we're not, and we're going for premiership?
Yeah, I mean, obviously that would be the aim. We're just going to take each game as it comes, and hopefully it'd be great to win it, definitely, but it is going to be tough, and like I said, it'll be really, really competitive. But yeah, I think a lot of teams, obviously we were new to the league last year, nobody knew how we played, what our style was, whereas now a lot of teams know about us, know the players, so it'll definitely be a lot trickier this year, but yeah, work for the challenge.
And you've had a couple of pre-season games. How have they gone so far?
Yeah, we've actually had one. So we have only had one pre-season game. We played against Linfield. It was actually last week. A really, really tough game, obviously, against a great Linfield side. Both teams, both us and Linfield, played a bit of a mixed bag of players. They obviously got the win, but it was really great experience for us to know, obviously, the level we want to be striving for as well. So yeah, it was a great opportunity. We do have a few more friendlies lined up, I think, before the start of the season. Not too sure who they're against, but they'll all be good mix of competition, I think.
Do you like playing pre-season games against the likes of the Premiership clubs to kind of see what you could be playing against, or you just kind of get me started now?
No, I do enjoy them. I think it's a good test of character for our girls who have maybe never played against Premier League clubs before. Obviously, because it was their first year in the Championship this year, there's a lot who haven't came up against competition like Linfield and Cliftonville. So I do think it is a really good test of character for the girls, and it's good pre-season fitness, isn't it, really? And it does really allow us to see the level we want to be striving for and the level we can potentially get to, obviously with a bit of hard work. So I don't dread them as much as some people, but I could definitely live without them at the same time.
Abbie, would you agree? Or maybe you don't want to say because your manager might be watching here. Off the record, what do you think of pre-season? Do you like having those games?
No, I do. I think you know, everyone needs pre-season games, but we've had 2 so far. One was the Northern Ireland under-17 team, and you know they're a good team. They've a lot of young good players coming through, which is good for the game over here. And then we had Lauren last Friday night, and the weather was awful.
Bit of a thing with you and the weather thing, and tonight now, is it just you that's
I think the wind and the rain follows me. But no, it was good to play, you know, a good competitive game against a good Lauren side, before we have the All Ireland Cup. From the 24th is our first game against Bohemian, so it'll be a good test to play them.
You mentioned there that the All Ireland is coming up very, very soon, and a really tough first game, but are you excited to get started in it?
Yeah, no, I think it'll be a good test. We have never played a team from down south before, and they've never played us. So I think it's just a good experience for everyone. So we've one game done in Dublin against Bohemians, and then Peamount at home, which will be a tough game. You know, they're the league champions at the minute, so you can't get much tougher for it. But it'll be a good test for us, and then we've Linfield away, so at least we know something about them. So that one's, at least it's not a completely unknown game, but it'll be a good competition for us.
You've been able to see Bows, obviously not play against them, but you've been able to see them. They're a great side, you know, the down south teams are amazing. What did you take from that, watching them?
They're quite young, fast, strong, as you would expect from a team from down south. But I think they won't know a lot about us, so I think we could surprise them.
When you saw the draw, did it kind of nerve-wrack you that it was just such a tough grip? Obviously there's no easy grip, but you kind of got a really tough one.
I think because we entered it in quite late, so it all just happened so quick, so it was just, we just didn't really have time to even think about who we could draw or where the games could be. It just happened, but we'll take any team.
Amber, it's not long until the actual season starts for you and Oliver Plunkett first. Really tough first game.
Yeah, definitely. We played St Oliver Plunkett last season in the Cup, and it was a really, really tight game. I think we just about narrowly got it 3-2 after a bit of extra time as well. So they're definitely going to be tough competition. It's away to them as well, up in, I'm not too sure, I think it could be Sally Gardens possibly, but on a grass pitch too, which we're not too used to. So yeah, it'll certainly be a tough opening game, but all the girls are up for it and really looking forward to it.
Last year we mentioned you were the newbies, now they're the newbies, so you kind of maybe can relate to them slightly. You know, they're coming in completely blind to the championship and just wanting to make a good impression. Yeah,
definitely. I think you always have this nice aura about you when you first come in as almost like an underdog, you know, coming in from the league below. And I think a lot of the teams who always do come into the leagues, into the championship, you know, they're always going to make a really good first impression. So yeah, it'll definitely be a tough game.
We're going to take a short break here in the studio. We were just talking about the All Ireland Cup, and Rachel Barlow is going to tell us all about the fixtures which were just released and give us a local news roundup at the same time. Over to you, Rachel.
To start our update on local transfer news, we start by going to Derry City, who make their 4th new signing since our last update. 2 Strabane girls were among those signings, one being former Science Swiss player Tara O'Connor and the other rejoining the club from Strabane Athletic, Molly McBride. Molly, having stated that she is really looking forward to the season ahead, she is happy to be back at Derry City where it all began. Lisburn ladies have also been busy in signing Northern Ireland under-19 international Rebecca McGee from Glentoran. They also announced the signing of Zoe Rogers, who had previously played for Crusaders. Last season Zoe was recovering from an ACL operation and missed most part of the season, but now she is back to full fitness and looking forward to getting back on the pitch. Not straying too far, we move on to the other Lisburn side in the Premiership, with Lisburn Rangers signing 2 new players. Chloe Walker, who came through the ranks of Northern Ireland under-11, under-15 and Glentoran youth sides, she will wear the number 21 jersey for the newly promoted club. Lisburn Rangers have also signed Emma Higgins, who joins from Glentoran. Again, coming through the ranks at international level, earning 87 senior caps and playing regionally and within Europe, she joins with an abundance of experience. Lauren recently announced the signing of defender Holly Maley from St James's Swifts. With previous experience in top-flight football with Cliftonville, Holly will be sure to bolster defensive options at Inver. Moving on from transfers, the fixtures for the 2024 Women's All-Ireland Cup group stage have been confirmed, with the first round of the game set to kick off very shortly on March 23rd. Cup holders Galway United start to look to retain their trophy with a local derby against Sligo Rovers, while last year's runners-up Cliftonville Ladies start at home to Shelbourne at Solitude. Once the group stages are complete, the quarter-final ties will take place on weeks ending June 23rd before the competition moves on to the semi-finals on weeks ending July 21st, and then finishing with the final on weeks ending August 18th, which I'm sure will prove to be a very exciting fixture.
Thank you, Rachel Barlow, for that. Amber, we'll come back to you. Not only are you the top goal scorer for Bangor, but you've had quite the career in futsal as well. I just want to, maybe we should bring the goal up just so that you can talk about it, but you played like an absolute screamer of a goal in the Euros in Lithuania. Talk me through that experience. It must have been unreal.
Yeah, I've been really lucky to be a part of the women's futsal squad since it founded there in 2018, I think it was, and I've been lucky enough to go away on a few different European Championship trips as well. That one in particular, yeah, it was away in Lithuania, was a free kick. Never always hit them as sweetly as that, definitely. I know any of my coaches watching will laugh because I usually hit the ceiling with them in training, but that one caught it perfectly and yeah, straight into the top corner. Yeah, it was great. We did go on, I think we did lose that game eventually, but yeah, it was a really tight game and good to get on the score sheet for Northern Ireland.
Should never mention the fact you lost that game, just be like that was the goal of the game. The rest is history. Something else happened to you during that game? Maybe it didn't end so well for you?
Yeah, I actually narrowly avoided getting a red card. I went in on a tackle that I thought I was on time for, but apparently I wasn't. And the girl that I tackled actually landed on top of me, and I dislocated my elbow and had to be rushed to a Lithuanian hospital straight away. They popped it back in, put me in a cast, but much to my coach's dismay, I went back to the hotel and chopped my cast off. Was able to play the remaining 2 games of the European Championship. So yeah, didn't want to travel all that way and not get to play the 3 games. So
what did your coaches say whenever you did that?
Wasn't best pleased.
Not suitable for TV.
Not suitable for TV. Yeah, wasn't best pleased. But yeah, just because I think. It wasn't too bad because it was dislocated. I think if it had been a break or anything like that, it would have been a little bit more serious. I think just because it was dislocated, once it was popped back in, and I got it strapped up and stuff before I played, so it wasn't too bad. But yeah, the bruise was quite the picture.
I'm sure players probably saw it as well, because your kit wouldn't have covered it, would it?
Yeah, there's a few photos. I was in sort of strapping basically from like up here down to here, and I think the referee was refereeing the second day in the second match, and I think she was kind of like, I didn't give you a red card just because I thought you were never going to play the last couple of games, so I think she was a bit shocked to see me come back on the pitch again. You
have to like go on like undercover with the glasses on, like I'm a different person, dye your hair quickly.
Different person, but big cast on the arm, same thing.
Inconveniently it's happened to a different person as well. But it really must have been a test of your character as well, like going thinking that's it, I'm not going to be able to play the rest, to then obviously play with a sore elbow. Yeah,
I think anyone who knows me, I am severely accident prone. I get injured all the time. I think it's just because of playing so many sports, but I always will try to push through as best I can, and I just thought, it could be the last time I play for my country, so I did really want to push through and make sure I could play the remainder of the games. Thankfully, I was lucky enough to travel to Serbia then the following year for the European Championships, so thankfully it wasn't my last game, but it could have been, so I just, definitely wanted to make sure I got playing.
And Abbie, you've scored some important goals yourself. You scored Lisburn Ladies' first ever goal in the Women's Premiership away from home. That must have been so rewarding as somebody who's been there for so long and kind of gone through the ranks with them. Yeah,
and I think it was always nice to play at Seaview, score at Seaview against a good Crusaders team. But yeah, no, I don't think the actual goal was probably like the best goal I've ever scored, just because it was like a tap in. But they all count, so I'm going to take them.
We'll not put it over them. We'll leave our goal not be yours.
No, it was definitely nowhere near as good as Amber's free kick. Definitely not.
But I'm sure no matter if it was a tap-in or not, that kind of experience must have been amazing. Just kind of being able to do it, and a lot of relief maybe to score that goal and get it done with.
And I think it was, especially coming into a new league, you always just want to get the first goal. Once you get one, then it kind of settles you down again. So yeah, it was nice, especially because it was quite early on. in that season. So yeah, no, it was nice to get at least that goal.
Do you have like a special celebration for goals like that, or were you just like running around like, oh my gosh, what have I done?
No, we were actually getting beat, and that started kind of the start of our comeback. So I literally just ran straight into the net, lifted the ball, and was like, we're going to go again. But no, I definitely don't have any celebration. Definitely not.
Next season, now come on, I'm expecting to see a good celebration if you score.
Yeah, I might come up with something, but definitely,
Heard it here first.
I'm definitely not into. There's a few girls that do have a good few celebrations, but I'm definitely not one of them. Definitely not.
And last year, Lisburn, as you said, you kind of come back in that game. They really did put up a test against the bigger teams. Like, you must be proud of the performances against, obviously, them all, but particularly those ones.
Yeah, we went to Freeview last year and actually beat Crusaders 1-0, which was a massive result for us, because we had always set like a target at the start of last year was to beat one of the big teams. So especially doing it away from home. Was a massive result. Was probably the best performance that we put in last year. But this year, yeah, we definitely want to kick on again. Each year we just want to keep improving.
You said the goal was to beat one team last year. Is it 2 this year then?
Even if it was a home and away. But no, yeah, we want to definitely compete and kind of close the gap to the big teams.
And those kind of big teams, they've obviously made loads and loads of new signings. You've made a couple of new signings as well and strengthened your squad. Taking a Plunkett player as well, talking about Plunkett earlier. It's good that Lisburn are kind of expanding out and getting players from other teams. Yeah,
no, definitely. I think just for us as a club and as a team to grow, we always need new faces. So the ones that have come in this year, they've settled in, like they've always been there. We're quite a close-knit group. There's a core of us that have been there. I'm there 10 years this year, and there's a few that have been there 13, 14 years. Some since they were under 8, under 9, I think. So we are quite a close team, but the girls that have come in this year have just fitted in seamlessly.
What's it like being one of those players that's been there for so long? You kind of see a lot of things change. I'm sure you've also got a new manager this year, new players. Like, you must just feel like you're always there then.
Yeah. Sometimes especially some of the younger ones coming up, it makes me feel really old, even though I don't think that I'm that old. But yeah, no, it's a lot's changed. There's a lot going on behind the scenes to kind of keep the club progressing, make it more like professional. But no, it's always good, especially for the club to keep evolving. It needs to keep moving forward.
And what about Phil as the manager so far? How have you enjoyed him being at the club?
Again,
off record.
No, he's been really, really good. Him and Gareth have come in. So Gareth's the goalie coach. But no, Phil's come in, and it's the way he wants to play football, I think, suits us as a team. And it's really good. We can kind of see little bits that he's implementing coming through in the pre-season games. So hopefully in another few weeks we'll be at a better level and understanding of what exactly he wants. But no, so far so good.
And someone with such a wealth of experience in the leagues, it kind of must feel like you're in safe hands.
Yeah, no, I think Phil's been around the women's game, and he was at Linfield for so long. So he knows the league inside out, he knows how to win. So no, hopefully we're on for good things this year.
And Amber, you've got exciting things coming up with futsal, and they're going to be competing in the World Cup. You don't know where it is yet, but that's going to be a great experience.
Yeah, definitely. We've got 2 games in against Belgium in Uri here. I think it's the 5th and 6th of April, first weekend of April. So 2 double header against them, just international friendlies, obviously just to get some game time. And then yeah, we've got the World Cup in October, which will be really, really exciting. Like I say, not sure where it is yet. The draw hasn't yet been done. It'll hopefully be done sort of June, July time to find out where we're going and who it'll be against. But it's going to be an amazing experience, obviously for the whole squad.
Speaking of those internationals, we're going to take another break, and Rachel McGill, another Ards fan, you're now outnumbered with Ards fans here, is going to talk us through the recent Euros draw and how Northern Ireland are set to compete in the Euros. Over to you, Rachel.
The draw for the qualifying stages of the 2025 Women's European Championship has taken place. This tournament will take place in Switzerland next summer. 2023 World Champions and Nations League winners Spain have been drawn into Group A2 of League A, facing Denmark, Belgium and Czechia. UEFA Women's Euro title holders England have been drawn into Group A3 of League A, facing Sweden, France and the Republic of Ireland. This group features the 3rd, 4th and 5th ranking nations in the world, according to FIFA Women's Rankings. The Republic of Ireland make their first appearance in League A after qualifying from League B in 2023 Nations League. Due to winning their Nations League playoffs against Montenegro, Northern Ireland remain in League B. They've been drawn into Group B3, facing Malta, Portugal and Bosnia. Portugal have made 2 appearances in the Women's Euros, first reaching the tournament in 2017 and then again in 2022. Both Malta and Bosnia have not yet qualified to the Women's Euros. Unlike previous qualifiers, the qualifying matches will take place in a league system, which was determined by the inaugural Women's Nations League, which took place in 2023. The top 16 teams have been drawn into groups into League A. 16 teams are in League B, including tournament host Switzerland, and 19 teams are in the bottom league, League C. The nations will compete within their groups, playing each nation home and away. Switzerland automatically qualify for the tournament due to being the host nation. In League A, the top 2 teams in each group will automatically qualify. The other 7 qualifying spots will be determined through playoffs. Nations can find themselves in one of 2 playoff qualifying pathways for the first round of playoffs. Teams that finish 3rd and 4th in League A will face the winners of the 5 groups in League C and the 3 best ranked runners-up in League C. 6 teams from League B can progress on to the next round of playoffs. The 4 group winners and 2 best ranked runners-up will face the other 2 runners-up and the 3rd place teams of the 4 groups. Into the second round of playoffs, 8 teams will progress from the League A and C playoff pathway, while 6 teams progress from the League B playoff pathway. They will be drawn into 7 matches with seeding for the highest ranked nations of the 7. The 7 winners will qualify for the tournament. How does this affect Northern Ireland? If Northern Ireland win their group or are one of 2 best ranked runners-up, they will face either one of the 3rd place teams or the 2 lowest ranked runners-up in League B. If they win their playoff from there, they will be drawn into one of 7 draws between the winners of each playoff pathway. However, these are seeded for the highest ranking nations. If Northern Ireland were to qualify, this would be their 2nd appearance in the UEFA Women's European Championships after making their first appearance in 2022.
Thank you, Rachel, for that. I probably should have warned you that we had a Bangor player in today, so you could have started singing Davy Lee's just to wind Amber up. Because off camera, I've been doing it a lot, but I'm sure virtually you're sending the Davy Lee songs over to. I will send you them now. Just talking about that group, really tough group for Northern Ireland, but it's probably a doable group at the same time. Abbie, what do you think about it?
No, I think it's a good group. They've every chance. If we can play, if they play how we know that they can, then I think they've every chance of hopefully qualifying to another major tournament.
I think maybe what makes the group sound scary is probably Portugal. That's probably their toughest task.
Yeah, I think they played Portugal away a good few years ago, and I think they did beat them 1-0. So they've done it before, so I don't see why they couldn't do it again. But hopefully it would be nice to have another major tournament.
Yeah, I think we're all kind of hoping somewhere warm, somewhere away from the rain. So you can't go then because you'll bring it with you. Amber, you'll be playing in the same kit as them with this new launch that's just been announced. What do you think of that group as well? We kind of mentioned as well Portugal, the tough ones.
Yeah, definitely. I think it's an interesting group. It goes without saying Portugal are probably the favourites in the group, but definitely like Abbie said, just a mirror. I think we can play as good as any team when we really put our mind to it. The girls, they dug deep obviously in their playoff games there as well, which was fantastic. So yeah, definitely be interesting group, good test, but yeah, I think they're definitely capable of qualifying.
Abbie said if they can play like we know that they can play, then we'll get there. It's kind of the thing as well now that we've been to a major tournament that we can bring the fans, we can do it, we can play against those big teams. Like there's nothing really holding us back.
Yeah, no, definitely. I think that's one thing Northern Ireland always has going for it, be it men's or women's football, is the fans. You know, it is almost like having a 12th player on the pitch, so I think it'll be really important to get behind the girls regardless for, you know, all their games home or away. So yeah, it'll be good to see how they do.
Have you noticed an increase in people attending futsal games too?
Yeah, I mean, most of our games have been away, so it's been quite difficult. And you know, futsal is very, very popular, obviously in Eastern Europe, where we have played most of our matches. So they do get really, really good crowds. You know, a few hundred people at each of them, which in comparison to a football match doesn't sound like many, but yeah, a few hundred crammed into a small hall or a small venue. You know, it's quite the atmosphere. When we did play our home games here back in 2018, we played Belgium, Holland and Sweden, and we completely filled out the ground. Lots of young kids coming through to watch, lots of clubs came down and support, and they did a good bit of singing as well and stuff too. So the atmosphere was really good.
Is it kind of like you need more facilities over here, maybe so that you could, because you're playing your games in Uri, so it's not exactly handy for you guys?
Yeah, definitely. At the moment, Uri's the only international sized court, so that's where we're having to host our games. That's why we're playing Belgium there in a few weeks. You know, we train at the Shankill Leisure Centre, which is a great facility, but it's not international standard at the moment. So yeah, definitely need a few more facilities, which would be great.
But because football, like outside football, has kind of grown so much, it must give you confidence that futsal can do the same.
Yeah, definitely. You know, futsal was very new here, even for the men's side, and the men's side took off a few years earlier than the women's. And the men's side now has grown. They've got two really great leagues in at the moment, and they also have a Champions League spot. So obviously the winner of the men's league goes over to the Champions League and gets to compete. So that's obviously where we would like the women's game to get to. You know, UEFA don't have a women's Champions League at the moment for futsal, but ultimately when it gets there, hopefully we can secure a place in it too for the winner of the women's league as well.
Is it something that you can kind of see happening, not saying in your career, because you've got plenty of career left, but something that you can see happening soon?
I would like to hope so. You know, I did always say that I would love to have a World Cup, because it's obviously the first year of the Futsal World Cup, and I didn't think it would ever happen in my playing time. So yeah, hopefully, who knows, in the next couple of years they may put a Champions League together, but UEFA have been really supportive of the women's futsal game, which is great to see.
And Abbie, as this new season approaches, do you have any personal goals going into it?
I'm not really one to actually set targets, just because I feel like the pressure at times of trying to get to a certain number of goals or assists. But I think us as a club and us as a team, we want to kick on.
Abbie mentioned that kind of behind the scenes thing. Bangor seem to be bringing more coaches in, more people behind the scenes. It's great to see them growing. I say through gritted teeth.
Yeah, no, it's fantastic. You know, we've got head of women's football, Michelle Crawford, has been fantastic. She came into Bangor 2 years ago, and I worked quite closely with her. She used to coach me at Linfield, so it's fantastic to be back working with her again. But she's really turned Bangor around, and she's brought in, you know, Chris Dugan now, who is our head coach, and we've got Josh Wynn and Josh Einan, both two Joshes, the assistant coaches, and you know the training's been fantastic from start to finish. But like Abbie said, there's been a lot of behind the scenes work, obviously to try and make the club a lot more professional on the women's side, and we've got great support from the men's chairman as well, which has really made a massive difference.
Well, I wish you the best of luck, both of you, for the season, unless you Ards play here, then I don't. Thank you both so much for joining us. That's it for this episode of the Northern Ireland Women's Football Show. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you very soon. But for now, goodbye.